Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, my name is Melaina Landriault, and I'm going to be jumping into a collective reading today. It's kind of a spontaneous reading that emerges these past few readings. In the energy present as I move into this reading, there's an understanding of design recalibration. As I was doing my opening prayer, as I always do before I enter into space with you guys, I always invite in my protection with God and the archangels and my ancestors and whomever's ancestors of the highest vibrational point for you guys needs to be present. This is all allocated through my spirit team and through God. And this is by design, right? When we entertain movements in our lives, for instance, I'm entertaining the movement of a tarot reading right now. I'm entertaining movement of utilizing my gifts to decipher the tarot reading and the energy that's surrounding it. And when we entertain these types of spaces, it's already written in the stars what's about to commence. And the pathway forward is our choice and how we commence into it. Now, we can commence into a tarot reading in an open and non-invasive way where we ask for solutions or ask for what's necessary to be known, ask for whatever the question may be in regards to our personal experience. And that's a choice, and that's an understanding of a connection that we have, a design calibration that we have with the divine. But there's also an opportunity to make a choice to be invasive and place our energy where it doesn't really belong. And that's also by design. And each has what is an apparent pro and con. And it's up to you to decide which side of the scale you want to be on in regards to this type of energy deciphering, this type of recalibration in the choices that you make. And it's based in morals and beliefs. It's based in your authenticity of who you are. And this is something that came up today. So you may be somebody who's finding yourself recalibrating from a circumstance. Maybe you were thrown off kilter. Maybe you felt off. And there's some form of a redesign in effect right now in regarding your pathway forward or your pathway that's you're holding on to, depending on the choices that you've made. Just a moment, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I had to pause it for a second. Okay. Another thing that was coming up in the energy is the idea of headspace and what's contributing to someone's headspace. So you might be finding this could be past, present, or future energy. And you'll know where this fits if it's fitting for you. But you may have found like you've had a lot of worries, a lot of concerns, and you've had a lot of selflessness in your actions, a lot of loving energetic exchanges outwardly that may have been contorted or not received in the truth of what they were. And this may have taken up some headspace unknowingly and knowingly. You may have had like a deeper insight or reflection into it as of recently. Or you're starting to ponder deeper reflections of what has been in regards to this concern or worry that you have. So this feels like it's like this concern for another, worry for another, selflessness for another. It doesn't feel selfish in any way. 555 on my timer. So that's might be significant to this particular reading in regards to the energetic components and downloads that I'm receiving. As well as the experience of sorrow, like a painful sorrow in the heart. Sorrow that stems from an experience that wasn't fully able to rise within your circumstances. And this also aligns with this headspace, worry, concern. I have a low pitch in my ear. So it could be regards to chatter, people chattering about you, people making up stories in regards to who you are authentically. I get the sense that there could be this, I don't know if this is the right word, like a inferiority, is that the right word? Where your authenticity and your truth and who you are as a human being, when you are met with a particular individual, and maybe this is multiple people, but definitely in one dynamic, if you could place a perspective here, and it's likely the person that's coming up in your mind in regards to this dynamic, where you're being yourself and you have this interconnection with this person where, you know, you have an imprint, you have a contract, you have some sort of agreement in this life with them. And maybe something happens where the agreement or the contract gets torn up and you move in different ways. Perhaps, though, there's still an agreement of energy that's still connecting the two of you in regards to maybe a child or some sort of asset or home or some sort of policy. Some sort of energetic component, and it could be as big as a child or it could be other regards, is coming up in this energy. And it's almost like your presence in regards to this particular individual that is coming up for you, likely who's in your mind right now, if this is resonating. It's almost like they felt less than around you, and maybe they had to make up untruths about you to make themselves look better. And I feel like this is what is kind of attached into your mind space, because you're very aware of the energy that you're experiencing in regards to the connections that you may have to maintain with this particular individual for whatever reason. It's almost like people don't realize how potent energy can be. And lies have an energetic component to them as well, just as truth has an energetic component to it. And the thing is you can't hide from the truth. It always unravels. And it feels like it's in the most mysterious of ways. But the reality of it all is that Spirit plays a huge part in these connections. As somebody who can connect to spirit, who talks to God, who can talk to their ancestors, being gifted with mediumship since birth, I can attest that you cannot hide. Spirit whispers in our ears when we sleep. They whisper in our mannerisms. They express themselves in the most loving ways to help us move forward in life in the pathways that are going to help us and our future generations. Again, touching on that design recalibration at the beginning, where we have choices. And sometimes we lose our ancestor connections because we make the inaccurate choice that doesn't benefit our lineage or the children coming in the future. Anywho, this is a part of the energy in the reading that's coming up today. There's some sort of disregard of whom you represent. 11:11 on my timer. And it's almost as if this has been blocked to deter you in some way, shape, or form in regards to moving forward or out of that circumstance. And this is a continued cycle of being met by a one-sided point of view. And what I feel that kind of is implying, it's like somebody expressing something about you to people that don't even know you, will never meet you, or will not have an opportunity to be able to question you in regards to what's your side of the story. It's like listening to somebody's word and taking it for that's the actual factual truth of it, when they're not really being represented with the full truth of the circumstance. And then there's the other spectrum, the other side of the circumstance, which likely has a very telling tale in regards to the authenticity of the truth of it all. When you don't have all the pieces, the story is inconclusive. It doesn't make the energetic components to design some form of recalibration outwardly if you're being held stuck in some sort of illusionment or projection of some past lie that you've decided to encompass or embrace as your truth. These one-sided points of views are held without any regard or question of whom you have truly been in this circumstance. There's a piece of information that is truly lacking, and it's causing a lot of uproar in spirit. And the energy that I'm about to read that came forward today is touching on this very subject today. And it begins with the Six of Cups energy. We'll just leave this here in the center for a sec. And it's in reverse. And this energy is what's stuck in the past. This energy has selective memories to it. It's I'm going to choose to take the good of what makes me look amazing, and I'm going to just eject all those shitty things I ever fucking did to somebody. And nobody will know. It's coming forward with this false smile, acting a specific way in the kindness that's so insincere. It's a very disingenuous energy. This person or this energy that is embodying somebody they're fully invested in some dynamic or counterpart of whatever this energy is leading into. But they're trying to appear as though they're unfazed. And I feel like this is also this stuck in the past. It's like this hyperfixation of particular moments of the past. And it makes me think of the reticulating activated system. I think that's what you call it, where in our brain we hold these memories of everybody we meet. And it's like if you were to go out and bump into somebody that you know, and this person, let's say, was having a really bad day, and let's say it was you ended up catching them in a meltdown, and this is what you see of them: some sort of temper tantrum, meltdown, some sort of exchange of unpleasantry that occurred. And your reticulating activated system is going to like take a snapshot of this behavior, of this moment in time, as who you believe this person to be. And so the next time, let's say you don't see this person for another year or two, and you go to a party and somebody brings up that person's name, and you remember the last time you saw them, and this picture imprinted in your memory, in your brain, is what comes up as your memory, and you decide to express this memory with a group of people. And this group of people knows this person as well, and this group of people is like, well, that doesn't sound like this person. That's kind of weird. That's bizarre. That's odd, right? There's a story being projected forward of an event that you had nothing to do with, but you witnessed something. You took the snapshot in your brain, and then you went and relayed the information to a group of people that were not present in that moment, just like you were not present in that moment. And now there's this new experience being expressed about this individual that likely was just having a bad day. This is what's coming to mind in regards to this energy. It's like placing all these moments where somebody had all these bad moments, likely some form of contribution to these experiences that maybe made somebody, maybe it made you feel a certain way, or maybe your behavior made somebody feel a certain way. Place it where it fits, guys. But regardless, there was an experience had, because there's definitely mirroring energies in this reading. It's one spectrum to another, and this happens to be very present energy this past 6 months to a year. And it's like, it's just based on this energy, this like hyperfixation, this need to control something, this need to stay and just select what's being really unfolded for an individual. And this individual could be you, what's being unfolded for you. And this control, this tactic, it's a control, is likely something that stems from some form of inner child wounding, the need for healing from some form of trauma. And the next card that came up was the King of Wands in reverse. And the King of Wands in reverse is somebody that is very inauthentic. They may not know who they are. There's somebody who projects this facade to deliver some form of, this is me, this is who I am. But in actuality, they're not very authentic at all. They likely are very moody. They likely act very impulsively, even reckless at times, or explosive when things aren't going quite their way. And they're a tyrant in nature. And this person lacks courage and is very unmotivated moving forward. The King of Wands in the upright would be somebody very motivated with energy to force forward. But in the reverse, that's not somebody who's motivated. They're not in this king energy. They're trying to adopt it, but they're not in it. They're adopting a very negative trait of it. So this could be somebody that you know that you have some sort of a connection with, or have had in the past some form of connection with. It could be somebody that you've just met, or you're about to meet, or you're about to move into some form of movement into some sort of contract or agreement with this person. But this person has a past and they're stuck in it. And they're hyper fixated on this past. And they're fully invested in continuing this hyperfixation to contain some form of control and regarding the memory imprint of how people view this person. And this is energy right now that is very present. This is very familiar energy throughout the reads that I've done in the past year. And it's something I could definitely resonate with. I'm sure all of you have some form of resonance in this understanding. So I think it's just like it's a mirroring experience for us to understand who we are authentically in our lives and who we actually have agreements and contracts with, and how have they been playing out. There's this unfolding of the truth that's happening right now. The energetic field and, our ancestors and the divine are definitely full force making realities come true for a spectrum of the earth that maybe had the opposite experience. It's like placing some form of balance. It's temperance energy onto the earth right now. It's very prominent. At least I'm feeling this. I'm wondering if any of you are. It just feels like there's a lot of new growth. There's a lot of, if you're on the right side of right, if you are, being in your moral beliefs and your compass is adjusted correctly, and you're not going out of your way to hurt people, you're being a good human being genuinely. You're on the up and up, There is this vivacious energy coming in. And this is of the Ace of Wands. And this is in the energy for today's reading as some form of beginning, some sort of starting point that's bringing balance back into order. When I look at this card, I can see, you can see all the cherubim angels and that. And then you see all these lizard looking demons like flying away, and it's almost like the light energy is really forcing, and the it's like this energy like frequency almost, so you could see the ripples behind that's just blowing them away, and it's just like you cannot stop this from happening. This is divinely orchestrated to happen, and this is what this energy feels like. And this is somebody's, you guys, like, not just somebody, we are all stepping into some form of choice. And this is the beginning of something, the debut of something. This is something big. This is not something small. It may feel like it's small to maybe other people, but it's big to you. Whatever this energy is, it could be just letting go of some sort of grudge, letting go and forgiving people, moving forward even though it was really hard. It's making a choice to step into your authenticity, even more so presently. Maybe in the past you weren't able to be as authentic. Maybe there was child trauma that was getting in your way, or kind of blinding you from seeing or experiencing the truth of whatever this is for you. But this Ace of Wands is a starting point of this beginning. And it's associated with it's so associated with this virility, this energetic force of the beginning where you come from, and the family line that you were born into, and all of it is emanating some energetic experience, which is rippling out into the world right now. And this is causing change. And then we have the Strength card. Let me just move my camera a little bit here. Excuse me. And then we have the Strength card. And of course, this is exuding confidence. This is exuding vitality. This is the strength of it all in the self-beliefs that you have. And this is lining up underneath the Six of Cups, which is somebody's energy, the King of Wands energy of being stuck in the past. This is the hyperfixation energy, the trying to contort and control. So the Strength card, I can see it on two spectrums. Again, that mirroring energy. It's like on this Six of Cups reversed energy field, the Strength card is there holding in the utmost confidence in their own self-belief and the own vitality that they've placed forward in the commitment to whatever it was, to create this the selective memory imprinting, this hyperfixation to control it and contort it is being embraced as the strength, as confidence. Like, I am strong because I can keep this up. I am confident because I believe this is my truth. It's like this energy, you keep telling yourself that the lies are true, is what it feels like in regards to the Six of Cups energy. But in the past, this energy transpired by these two cards, and this is the Ten of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. So you have been placed through this type of energy, and this is the type of energy that likely would cause some form of a reaction in some way, shape, or form. And it's like almost like energy vampirism that I'm sensing in the energy of this Strength. Like, if I could get them to react a certain way, I could take that energy and I can emit this energy as a Six of Cups. I'll selectively choose the parts and the pieces of this energy to place forward, and I will become the King of Wands. So this is just what's coming out, guys. So this Ten of Wands and this Four of Pentacles is what was placed on you. The Ten of Wands being a card that expresses a lot of oppression. And it's creating this discord, like this tiring, constant, overburdened energy where you are just living this day over and over again, like Groundhog Day. It's like it doesn't end, and it's oppressive. It's like you think it's getting better, and then all of a sudden, bam, it happens again. It's oppressive. And it's also in alignment with the Four of Pentacles, which is all about isolation. So creating some sort of isolation in your life in regards to isolating you from the truth of what's actually being adorned about you. It could be creating some form of despair or abandonment to you, towards you, some sort of attachment to continue to attach to your roots. So this could be, maybe you have a child together. Just as an example, you have some sort of contract or agreement with somebody. So this contract or agreement could be in the form of a child. It could be in the form of a business. It could be in the form of, having some sort of amenities together, like a home or a car. It could be all sorts of things. This is contracts and agreements. And, when you go into these contracts and agreements, you uphold this sort of moral integrity and belief with one another moving forward when you do these agreements with them. But when those contracts are severed and you move in different ways, those agreements don't finish just because you decided to move separate ways, especially when there's a child. So it's feeling like somebody, let's say it's a child. If you have a child, you've been overburdened. Not that a child is overburdening you, but you've been placed with the overburden of doing everything while that person does nothing. or does the least, just what they feel is expected, while you are sitting there pulling the grunt of it all. And nobody knows, because the Six of Cups energy is only selecting certain memories, imprinting of you for everybody to know. And again, the one-sided understanding of this energy is really crucial in this reading today. It's like telling people that don't know you stuff about you that are not accurate, and leaving out the main part that you're paying for everything. You're footing the bill. You're doing the whole job. Both parents. You know, this is the energy of the 10 of Wands. So it's oppressive, and it's created this isolation, this despair, this abandon. So it's like, if it's a house that you have together, it's like creating this sort of discord in regards to this house, where maybe you have to give up some sort of portion of it because you were placed or pushed into a corner or backed into the corner, when in the reality of it, it should have been an even break, but it wasn't placed that way. And it was very insincere and disingenuous. It was saying it one way, but really meaning it another, if that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense for somebody here. So the Four of Pentacles being isolation, you're in despair, you're abandoned, you have this attachment, and this is about an inheritance. This is something to do with inheritance. This is really highly illuminated as well in the read. And I think this had something to do with yesterday's read too. So this could be shooting off of the energy of that reading. Again, this is energy that the divine wants to come out. This is a message that I don't think I'm the only person saying this message. This is something that keeps coming out. And the reason why it's coming out is the truth of it hasn't been fully released yet. But it's coming. Like, it's coming is what I understand. So yeah, you were placed in the past in a lot of really heavy energy, and it was really not fair. And you did a lot on your own, and the person on the other side of the contract or the agreement should have held their end of the bargain, and they did not. And this could be in regards to holding space for you. This could be in regards to like going to a doctor's appointment, and the agreement is you're seeing a doctor to help you through a circumstance. You find out there's a circumstance, and then the circumstance doesn't get taken care of by the doctor's end, and then that's the discard. Do you see? There's discord somewhere in some form of a contract or agreement. This is the energy today. So if you understand that energy, then this message is for you. And next, what came out was the Sun and the Star card together. And these flew out when I was shuffling with the 10 of Wands and the 4 of Pentacles at the same time, both separated in twos. So that's why I took them in twos. And this Sun card in this particular deck represents the universe essentially coming together, agreeing with your pathway. It's time for you to shine. Your pathway, it's time for you to be illuminated now. You've been held in the dark long enough. It's time for people to see the true you. And this is the universe conspiring together to make sure that it happens. I always find it fascinating when I've met people in the past who'd say they don't believe in God, or they don't believe in heaven, or like, or it doesn't necessarily have to be heaven, but just in an afterlife. They don't believe in it. And I always find it fascinating just because I have such a strong connection to spirit, even though at times in my life I was taught not to have this connection. I was taught to ignore it, and I did a pretty good job at that. And in that ignorance, I also adopted this ignorance in helping myself feel better about it by saying, well, it doesn't exist, right? Because I really wanted it to exist, but I wasn't allowed to exist with it because it wasn't permitted by those around me, because it made them uncomfortable. When you're predicting a death and somebody passes away, it makes people uncomfortable, right? But this is a gift. And if you're not able to see the gift in that, then... But as a child, when you're growing up in an environment that's placing that on you, or they're realizing that you have this deep connection, and maybe secrets are going to pop up. I say things. Sometimes I don't know where they come from, and people are like, well, how did you know that? Well, Spirit told me, So this is what's funny to me. It's like people go and act like jerks. They do really terrible things, and they don't think that they're ever going to submit to the truth of what they've done. But it's always going to get illuminated. And this is what this card is expressing in regards to this Ace of Wands energy. Again, the Ace of Wands energy is about your new beginning, your debut, your entering into a new phase of your life. This construct that was is not going to be existent anymore in the way that it has been, if at all. So your Ace of Wands energy, you stepping into your power, you owning who you are and your authenticity, the balance from that chaos coming into order. And this also is associated with the fact that you are supported by the universe, and the fact that you're also the star. Your purpose is important here. You, in a certain light, is of importance here on this earth. And that's another thing. We all have gifts and pathways here. And no, none of us are the same. I've met people in my life who try to say, well, all kids are the same. No, we're not. We're not. And that's okay. That is fucking fine. It's actually perfect. Because if we were all the same, this world would never grow and evolve into anything. We all have to contribute something of our energy into this life, into this world that we're spiraling forward for future generations. We all are here to contribute something. And it's our choice in what we contribute. But for this particular individual, this star person here, which is you've been led in the dark too long. People have been covering you in falsities for too long. People try to make you, I don't know if you just heard that noise. Oh my God, my daughter just came here and scared me. Lila, you scared me. What? I'm taping. It's okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm just going to pause it. You scared me.
You looked at me.
I was about to tell everybody there's confirmation. Just a second, guys. Oh my God, guys. My daughter just scared the crap out of me. I told her that she has to return her phone at 8:30, and I didn't realize it was already 8:30. And so she came to drop it off and tapped, and I was so into this part of the reading that I didn't even hear her walk into the room. I was about to say that was a confirmation, that noise, so maybe a confirmation. I just got the shit scared out of me. Excuse me for that language, but anywho, that is what it is. Okay. So with that abrupt jumping out of my body experience, I don't know where I left off, but I know we're talking about the Ace of Wands, and we're talking about the sun and the star. So you being the star, right? You're somebody who's been held in the dark. You're somebody that brings a lot of inspiration, hope. Like your story alone can transfer into so many people's lives. And this is why we're all different, right? We all can contribute to each other's lives some form of information, some form of understanding, acceptance, teaching, learn, change, like an understanding, a learned understanding of something new, just by expressing who we are and what we've experienced. And I know from my own personal experience that when you're not allowed to express who you are at the core of who you are walking around as a false advertisement of who you are. And in this instance, I think I'm not the only one. I think everybody has at some point aligned in this energy in that way. And it's creating, unfortunately, a lot of disservice in our lives when we're not able to be who we are authentically. And, this might act out, I know for myself as a young teenager, a young adult, I partied, I went out and I rebelled, and I did all the things that I shouldn't have been doing. And I did them because I didn't want to feel the pain that I was feeling. And the thing that I couldn't comprehend, because nobody was helping me understand why I was feeling pain, was because I wasn't allowed to be who I am. And so this is kind of emanating here. It's like you not being seen in who you are is causing a lot of people in this world a lot of disharmony, because people are lying on your name. They're putting crap out there that's not true, or people aren't investigating further into what they're being told. And this is the thing. This is the sad reality. It's like people, I see this on the daily, like they accept any type of information as the truth, as the only truth, and they don't want to impede any further investigation into it. We need to start asking questions, and we need to start taking in information as, especially when it's coming from one person and there's another counterpart involved, we have to take in this information as a piece of information, but what's the whole of the information? And when the whole of the information is formed, does it come together in harmony? Or does it strive and eject like nails and hammers outward? Because that is a very clear indication of what has been for one counterpart of that story versus the other. And this is something that is illuminating right now. And Spirit is making sure that whomever this message is resonating for, you being the star, you have been through a battle. You have been painted in black when you are of light. And your shadows from this darkness that was painted upon you have essentially caused you abandonment and all this isolation and despair, and it was very much unnecessary. And the universe is giving you this Ace of Wands to ensure that moving forward, you become the inspiration that you're here to be. Your opportunities are going to open up for you because you're going to bring hope into other people's lives. And this is also something, if you know this message is for you, you've had a renewed faith in the divine. You may not have always believed in the divine. Maybe you questioned it because you felt like you were always on the back end of the stick, but you've recently had this renewal of faith, this spark of energy that realigned you in understanding who God is, realigned you in understanding what your faith is, or realigned you in understanding that maybe you veered off that pathway for a bit and you've been trying to come back to it and you couldn't necessarily find it. You found it. It was renewed. And you feel blessed from it. You know there's truth in it. You have had likely a supernatural experience in regards to it. And this is something that definitely vindicated you in what you've been experiencing, which I bet you, because of the type of person you may be, you didn't even realize you were going through such hardship. You just took it like a champ. And that's why they kept getting away with it, is because you kept just, what can I do? Maybe there was something else in the way of the movement of you going forward, but the King of Wands in the reverse could be indicative of that as well. Irregardless, your time has now come to shine. And this card here, the Nine of Cups, is coming out. And this is all about the advantage that you're going to have. And this is the advantage that you're going to finally have. And this, again, that mirroring energy with that King of Wands in reverse, trying to maintain this look upon themselves, look of some sort of stature, some sort of resolution for them, singly, not the embodiment of all. It's a one-sided approach versus you. They had this, what appeared to be an advantage. It was an illusion of an advantage. They made a new agreement in creating that advantage from the old contract or agreement that they had with you. I have a rabbit, guys. That's the noise that you're hearing in the background. Yeah, and you might be feeling more upbeat lately, or like this rise in energy is coming in where you're feeling more cheerful. Maybe your physical experience in the world is getting better. Maybe at one point you're feeling really down and drawn out and anxious, maybe sick, and now you're feeling healthier. Your well-being is coming into balance, and it's creating this force field of physical energy that's manifesting in vitality for you. And you're leading into success, and you're going to be leading into it in excess, because this is what that King of Wands in reverse wanted for themselves. They felt successful pushing you down. They felt successful ripping up that contract. They felt successful creating this illusionary casted dream about what they wanted people to know about you. But the reality was they overburdened you. They overburdened you because they didn't take care of their part of the contract. Again, if this is a parent, they left you as the sole parent and masquerade as a parent. If this is somebody who you had a business with, they left the business and left you with the grunt of the work. This is some form of unfair balance. That wasn't equal, and it was by design. They did it deliberately. And so now the tables are reversed with the Sun card coming in. You're now going to have the advantage. And the difference is your agreement was always honorable. You never left or ejected your agreement, your contract. You always did the part that you were here to do in regards to that contract and agreement. You never swayed from it. You knew what you agreed to. You had your morals and your integrity behind you. The person you made the contract with was very disingenuous. They did not have the same expression or integrity moving into this. And this is creating a Four of Swords in the reverse energy for them. They, on the flip side of this, are now going to feel what you've been feeling. They're going to start to feel restless. They're going to start to feel burnt out. They're going to start feeling anxious and perhaps in isolation. They may be dabbling in escapism. Maybe there's addictions involved here. Somebody who drinks a lot, does drugs, dances in excess, and very impulsively acts in reckless ways in excess as the escape. And I get the sense that when they don't get this experience, they're going to be that reckless excessiveness to be able to achieve in that impulse of wanting to cover up how they're feeling, because they won't own the behavior, right? It's like, I'm going to act like a big baby and get my way. And when it gets real, I'm just going to drink a gallon of booze to make sure that it doesn't fully form in my understanding, so I can continue to live in the lie that I was telling about everything. And because of this, they are going to have a lot of underdeveloped experiences moving forward. Nothing will seem to complete. Everything will seem to shut down. Any ideas to create some form of fruitfulness to get out of whatever circumstance it is going to be met with this unmotivated lack of courage that they emit by being the King of Wands in reverse. And while they're experiencing that, you're going to be in the Nine of Pentacles. You're finally going to be successful. You're going to be very prosperous. Because that was always for you. And because it was held back from you, I'm getting the sensation of someone pulling me down, and then this on one side of me pulling me down. I'm feeling it on my left side in particular, so this might be significant for somebody here or a few of you here, where it could be regarding a female counterpart, or it could be regarding maternal lineage weighing you down, pulling you down. And then on the other side, the Nine of Pentacles is opening up. It's light and airy, and it's trying to lift you out of this pull. And that's going to cause some emotions, because you're finally going to, through all your realizations and through the salvation of what is about to occur from what has been, you've earned this embodiment of discernment. You now know what has been, and it'll never be again. And you're going to lead forward with that understanding and prudence. Because you're meant to be prosperous and successful in your salvation. And this leads you to mastery. This is the Three of Pentacles. This leads you into mastery. This leads you, you might be somebody who has a professional trade, a skill. Maybe you use your hands, you use your voice. Maybe there's something that you do that you utilize that could benefit all or many. This is a celebrity status. This is acquired nobility. This Three of Pentacles. The world is your oyster. It's like in all that depth of what you've experienced, although it was very painful, it was sorrowful, it was heartbreaking, it was very lonely, it was overburdened, you still manifested within it the creativity that you're now about to come out with. Because you're not somebody who stays knocked down. You have never been that person. Although people may have projected that about you, you have never been somebody who just lays down and takes it. There may have been a perception of this, again, that reticulated activating system is coming to mind. Like people seeing you maybe in the light of a moment that maybe wasn't very wonderful. It was hard. Maybe you did have addictions at some point. Maybe you've overcome them. Maybe you did behave excessively at some point because of all of this experience, or whatever led you to meet this particular individual that behaved this way in your life. Irregardless of whatever was in your past, you're not that person anymore. You don't live there anymore. And you've grown leaps and bounds from that point. We all have a past, right? And I mean, we grow through this cultivation. And how we grow again is our choice. You ever meet somebody from your past and they're still the same person? You're like, wow, you don't seem to have transpired into, you haven't really changed all that much, right? Or you meet somebody from your past and you see that they are still the same person, but they've grown very much from that point. You could see the people who flourish in life, and they attract and they engage and they embrace and they wallow through that mud, through it like a army man, trying to get to where they need to go. They're on the mission, and they're treading through that mud, and they get to the other side and they're victorious because they went through all of that shit. And they made it because they did that. They dragged themselves through the mud. They dragged themselves through all of these things to get themselves to safety. And at some points in our lives, we have to go through this type of experience where we have to endure some sort of battle that seems to be the biggest battle of our lives. And we have to pull ourselves through it. And some of us go through varying degrees of this. And nobody is better or worse than another in regards to this. It's all based on your divine, what did I say at the beginning here? recalibration, I think it was. Because you are meant to be recalibrated throughout your life. You're meant to start at a certain point to learn and grow and evolve. And then you get to another point and you learn and you grow and you evolve. 55 is really significant in this message. I keep seeing it. It was just 55 minutes on my timer. And this is to help us cultivate the wisdom to move forward into the roles that we're here to play. And each of us could be, in some way, shape, or form, the star energy. And each of us will have our time to shine in that energy. And it's just learning how to embody the truth of who you are. It's not pretending that you're something you're not because you're scared of what the truth of it all is going to be. It's standing up in your truth, no matter what, and expressing this is what it has been, and I'm proud of my actions, or I'm very ashamed of my actions. That's the step forward, right? And that action alone speaks volumes. If you're somebody who has caused pain on somebody and you're admitting it, and you're stepping out of that trench and expressing it, that takes a great deal of strength and cultivation, and that's something that you were not holding on to when you were lying about it. That's a very big growth spurt right there in understanding and in development. And it's always, in my opinion, in my experience, it's always been the hardest things that really cultivate the biggest experiences and lessons and teachings. And it's learning to gain that inner confidence to do so. Anywho, this is the message, guys. I'm going to leave it here. If this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to like my video, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. It does help my channel out. I am somebody who's just starting to step into who I am here in the way I'm meant to be. I've been silenced from this the majority of my life, and over the last few decades, I really strive to gain access to who I am authentically, and it's something that I'm extremely proud of. And so you coming here shows me that you're likely in alignment too, in this way. You're probably somebody who has strived for the same or has looked for something to help strive for that similarity. And I feel like we don't meet by fluke. If you're seeing this video, it's meant to be. If it's resonating with you, I'm very happy for you that it has. And I hope that it was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Anyhow, I'm going to leave this here. Until next time, take care.